Hello everyone, this is Meg at Chasing Retro, and I am finally finished with one of the 8 Christmas journals. I'm going to do a flip through of this one tonight, and then as I finish the others, I will do separate flip throughs over the next few days. So just stay tuned, stay close to your email if you're one of the ones that has reserved this, and as soon as I film the video, I'll let you know that it's up, and I will list it in my Etsy shop under your initials. But this was one of the larger sized ones. It was more of an 8.5 by 11, 3 signatures. So I wanted to go ahead, and I kind of like to do the biggest to the smallest. So that's kind of what I've done here. All of them this time are going to have a chunky charm on wax cord. I have not done this before other than one other time, and I thought for these Christmas journals these really needed something that made noise. So there are a lot of things that jingle, jangle, clink, clank, just lots of fun things. And then I decided to make it removable, just if it gets on your nerves you can take it off, or to put out of your way while you're writing in it. So this one is a Marigold Press version of I think it's Corrine Malvern illustrated Night Before Christmas. And on the back here there was a UPC code, but I covered it with a little cluster. The back has full color imagery as well. And then I put some white pom-pom trim, and there's some vintage calico in a tiny dot. And then in the bottom, all of them will have little bells tied to the strings and the signatures. This one has a eyelet closure with some raw silk. I guess it's either raw silk or sari silk. And I did hide the price with a puffy glitter snowflake, and then I put one more here just for balance. Alright, so like I said, this one has 3 signatures, and I think there are 15 pages per signature. So folded pages, 15 folded pages. There's a lot to look at, and I am sorry y'all, but my camera stand is as high as it will go. And so I'm gonna have to move it around to show you the whole thing. Over here on the left, there is some gift wrap with some vintage images on it. I've done a cluster with a vintage doily and some holly and some old lace. And then I did a decoupage tag with a napkin that I received in Happy Mail. And then here is a ad for sashing ribbon. I have some of this in my stash. It's great. But yeah, how to make bows. I don't even know how to make that kind of bow, but very 50s, very retro. And then this little holiday note sheet. There's a double diagonal pocket here. This is a vellum image on top of more vellum. I sort of tore around it, and I put a red velvet bow here. A Rolodex card with a little cluster with fabric and some cedar. It's like glittered cedar. So growing up, we always had at my grandparents' house a cedar tree. My grandpa planted them in the yard. He had a row of 4 or 5 of them, and he would cut the last one down and then plant another one on the other end, and it just went through them progressively every year. I loved that. So that's my favorite kind of Christmas tree, an Eastern cedar. Here's a little fabric tag with teddy bears. This is another decoupage napkin, very pretty tall tag with some old lace. This is actually a Christmas card that we received last year, and I decided to use a lot of the Christmas cards. Not a lot. I think I used 3 of our received Christmas cards to make ephemera for these. This is the cover of a pattern. I think I found this at my craft reuse store. I love the turquoise with the red, so I backed it with some turquoise glitter paper. That envelope was in too bad of shape to make into a journal cover, so I saved the image. Here is a really wide belly band with some decorative edging. And then in here we have some Christmas stationery. I found this at an estate sale not too long ago. It's on parchment. And a little journaling card. This is from, I believe, 365 Bedtime Stories by Golden. And then I just put some white pom-pom trim on there. This is vintage typing paper. You can see the watermark. I got this at an estate sale this spring, and a stamp. This is not Ideals. It's actually from something called a Christmas annual, I believe. I found this at a seminary bookshop, library on a discard rack. So I got several of those to bring home. This is a Richard Scarry image. I fussy cut around him, made a tuck spot. Someone sent this to me and I didn't know what it was, but someone told me. I believe this is the foil wrap that goes around in poinsettia, which is awesome. So it has some slight metallic content, but I put it onto some cardstock, and then I fussy cut her out of some gift wrap that I found this past weekend thrifting, and I put a little patchwork tie. And this is another vintage ad. I think this one was from Reader's Digest, and I stamped the back. This cute little craft sack with Santa on it has a little list for Christmas gift buying, and of course, Family Circus, my favorite comic of all times. I put it in journals as much as I can. There's a little piece of fiber. I punched the edge of this page. Here's a fabric pocket. This is another Christmas card that I received. Beautiful silver foil. And a vintage recipe card from Better Homes and Gardens. And this is a coloring page. Two-sided. Here is a little corner belly band, I guess, and I put a December calendar here. This is a embossed photo mat, so I wanted the recipient to put underneath it whatever they would like, and maybe glue it down to a page. And this is from the magazine, I think it's Humpty Dumpty magazine. This is from a book about natural floral decorations, Williamsburg style. Ledger, and I put some rickrack on the edge. This is just a fussy cut out of a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer book that I had, and I just thought he was so cute. A vintage greeting card with some gold emboss. And then on this side, I found these at Michael's, you guys. They're reticulated, so they sort of animate. And then here we have a gift wrap made into a tag and a vintage playing card. This is from a vintage McCall's magazine. It's a Santa made out of a coconut, and he was sitting on top of a huge plate of cookies. And this is some gift sets that you could buy. This is actually a sewing pattern page. And then I put this little image here. And this is from Ideals publication. I think it's called Jolly Old Saint Nick. So I hinged this page and put it in here. This is a fussy cut from Rudolph. Ribbon. This is an Ideals page right here. And then some red crocheted lace, and then a bead dangle with a little glass Santa. And the center is the 2-page Ideals imagery with poems. This is a fussy cut from a little golden book about the Nativity. And I put a sticker that says, "May your hearts be joyous." Here is a little cluster made with some foil paper that I embossed. And this is from, oh, I found this summer and almost fell on the floor. It was a book of folk songs, and this paper is just amazing. It's sort of got sort of a lined texture to it, and the images are just beautiful. This is some really unique trim. Let's see if I can find a piece to show you close up. I found this at the craft reuse store. It was a little challenging to glue on because so much of it is hollow, but I managed to get some of it glued down here and there. Here's the cookies on the bottom of that, and there's coconut all over the place. Little corner pocket with a mailing label, and I think this is a Trivial Pursuit card. This is Fussy Cut from an Ideals magazine. She's holding a Raggedy Ann. And this is from another Richard Scarry book. I think it's The Animals Christmas. The Animals Merry Christmas. Upside down pocket with some brocade trim. I guess that's jacquard. A red envelope. I put a stamp and stamped this and stamped this. And it's got a scalloped edge. And in here we have a children's book image. We have a Christmas shopping list and one of those tear out cards from a vintage McCall's. This is the cover of a Christmas Carol booklet. I saved it, put it onto cardstock, sewed around it, and then did a little collage on the back. So it is in here with photo corners. And then some more of that jacquard trim, a cluster with some more of that green doily. Oh, and this is a felt poinsettia leaf. I cut apart some felt poinsettias that I found at Michael's and made clusters. Journaling card, and this is from a Christmas card that has glitter on it. And I just thought it was perfect for journaling because there's so much white space there. Clipped here. The paper clip has a little tiny bell on it. Oh, you can't see that. There we go. A little sheet of reversible gift wrap. I didn't want to glue it down for obvious reasons. A little label and a craft card. Kind of like a recipe card, but it was all crafts. This is a page from a Christmas memories book. Actually, it's the next journal that I'm going to show you. Maybe not the next journal. It's the other large journal that I did. The pages from it are in here. And it's got things that you can fill out per year. Little Rudolph fussy cut, and then a handwritten recipe for cranberry fruit nut bread. Vintage gift wrap, and some lace tied at the top. And then here, another wonderful vintage ad. All of our grandmas had these tablecloths. This is from Work Basket magazine. And this is just a book page from a craft book, and I did not want to lose the front or the back, so I just put it in here as it is. This is something new that I tried. I will link the channel, and actually I'll link the video where I saw this. This is from, I believe it's Jules of Tyler. This is her idea. I copied it. She did a great tutorial. I didn't quite do it right. I barely had enough to sew here, and so this almost didn't happen, but I decided not to do any more other than this one because I want to get better at it. And when you start journals to sell with a time crunch, that's not the time to go into something that you've never tried before. But it's kind of cool because you have this confetti that slides around. Well, if you shake the book around, it does, but. And then here, this is the second signature. And this is an envelope made out of vintage sheet music. And in here we have a vintage Snoopy invite. And this is a wax seal for closure. And then another napkin decoupaged onto a card, and a paint by number page. This is from the early 80s. I do not know if it will work or not if you try to paint it. So I put one in every journal, so you guys can try it if you'd like, but I cannot guarantee. This is Snoopy gift wrap I found at an estate sale. I am so excited about this one. So McCall's Magazine had these beautiful hand-drawn images in this article about decorating a small space for Christmas. And it said if you don't have a lot of space, like a small apartment, clear out a cupboard and decorate the inside of it. And I thought it was a great idea. But the name of the artist is Jack Johnson. That's not right. That's the musician. James Johnson? I'll have to look him up. But anyway, I was like, oh my goodness, I love his art. So I now have a list of books that he illustrated for children. And I just love this style. But I glued all of these edges down to make a sort of a hidden pocket. And I'm gonna start doing this more. This is really fun. I did back it on the cardstock first because you know magazine is thin. This is another Christmas card, and this one, the camera's not doing it justice. It is so amazing, the coloring. And I left the back as it was. This is vintage reproduction gift wrap. I found this at Home Goods last year. Some vintage gold trim. Baby Jesus in a manger on some hand-dyed paper. I did not do this. I bought this on Etsy. This is a page from a book called Santa Mouse with some eyelet and then another bee dangle. And this is wallpaper. It's sort of embossed white on white. And then an image from a book about waiting for Santa. And then we have a fabric tag and a postcard. This was actually, I found it in a book that I got to read this past month when I was at a bookstore. It was a used bookstore, and I thought it was really cool. Somebody gave somebody a subscription for a magazine. Here's a cluster with fabric and a vellum little image. Sheet music. I think this is piano music for children. A little envelope here with a journaling card. And this is an appointment date book page from December 1986. This was sort of a creative, but I'm not really sure I love it idea. I found an ad for Scotch magic tape, and it was talking about if you use cellophane tape, it yellows over time and it looks ugly, but magic Scotch tape does not. But you know what? We like this now. We think it's cool. So I used some of my faux alcohol stain tape to look like somebody ripped it out of a magazine and then taped it down to remember later. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I was excited about it. This is cut out from a sewing pattern. It says To Dreamland. This is another page from that Christmas annual. The center pocket, here's little bells, has Rick Rack across and Rudolph here. This is from a Christmas tray skirt sewing pattern. I just folded the whole thing in here. And then I have thumbprint cookies and first issue envelope is what I'm trying to say. Christmas 1978. This is an antique postcard. I received these in Happy Mail recently. By the way, watch my Ko-fi shop. I scanned these and I'm going to offer them as a digital. Beautiful, beautiful images. This is another napkin decoupage, all on sheet music, which is my new favorite thing to do. And this is some of that stretch velveteen ruffled trim. I don't know what it's called, but I love it. And then this is one of those Hallmark enclosure letters that you could put with your greeting cards. Another bell here, and then we have a little embellished definition. And I used my Brother Scan and Cut to cut this snowflake out. A little 80s Christmas sticker, coloring book page. Another journaling card in here. This is from a book of Christmas carols for children, I think. Really sweet. This is a little digital of a sort of a pass, a fair of some sort from Wisconsin. And I put some trim here. Side pocket with some stickers. These are creative memories. And another ad. Ideals page. I put this quote from Night Before Christmas here. It kind of, I didn't see him at first. I was just focusing on the little girl, and when I looked up and saw him, I kind of jump scared. Like, I was like, Meg, calm down. Like, I think it was really late one night, and I was up working on this journal, and I was like, oh, Santa. And then here is a milk cap. Someone sent these to me in Happy Meal recently, and some black paper. This is a ruffle made with some beautiful batik Christmas fabric. Oh my word. I found this in the quilting section of my reuse store recently, and I used them all throughout these journals. Here's a little glass bead bangle. And every journal will have a shaker card. This one was a long box of ornaments, and I cut it down. I took the lid off, cut it out cut it in the middle, took out like 8 inches, and then sort of put it back together again, and then turned it into a really fun shaker card. Jumbo shaker card. Coffee dyed paper. Snippet strip, I guess that's what you would call this, with paper. Here's a fabric flip. We have Swiss dot, calico, and a doily, and some velveteen ribbon. Here is a sheet. This is actually, someone gave this to me a couple years ago. It's actually one of those gift wrap sample packs that kids would carry around, including me, to sell door to door in the 80s at Christmas time. I guess into the 90s. And I used one of them in here. And here's a large journaling card with a very old book image. A vellum pocket with a little, I guess a thicker right there. This is a greeting card someone sent to me. I think it's blank. No, season's greetings. And a really unique envelope. And then another napkin decoupage tag. I'm looking on the back of all of them because I did stamp on the back of some of the cards and tags in these. A fabric pocket with some sort of country twine printed trim. This is tissue paper that I decoupaged onto cardstock and black ribbon. And I did stamp a house on this one. This is a folded sheet from a 1979, I think, Butterick sewing pattern counter catalog. This is from a very old Christmas book that was sent to me in Happy Mail. Graph paper with a wheel tail. This is the cover page of a Richard Scarry book. Fabric cluster with some velvets. I say that word very southern. Holly stationery. Fussy cut Santa. A rectangle doily. I don't get to use these very often. Oh, you don't know patience until you try sewing down sequins. But I did. I put a little strip of sequins on the edge of this music. Little tiny pocket here with the Santa. And then some embroidered rickrack. This is from a children's songbook, I think. This might be Project Life card. And this is from Work Basket. This is a 3-tiered pocket, so there's 3 layers. We have Frosty the Snowman, book page, and a journaling card, and another journaling card made with gift wrap. a tally, a playing card, I stamped a ticket, some more stickers, and a label. I'm trying to remember the name of this. This is that really, really nice paper company that has the beautiful floral images. It's escaping me right now, but it's one of those. This is from another book about an elf and a doll. Vellum page. This is from Helen Gallagher catalog, I think. A greeting card with a tuck spot on the back. It says a delicate coating of frost. A vintage Christmas card. Center of the book that this is made out of. A fabric pocket. This is velveteen with a cluster here. And then we have some Susie Zoo. This is a label for the package. Old, current right here. And then, oh my goodness, read this. I found this at an estate sale. I saw that and I was like, yes, I have to have this. I wish I had more. I only have one. There's a little coupon ticket. This is tissue paper that was folded up and glued into a scrapbook from the 1940s. I salvaged it several years ago, and I'm stretching it as far as I can take it. And this is a pocket made with that. And then in here we have a vintage party invite. I actually put one of these in every journal. We have a fold-out tag and another address label sticker. Two little pockets here with a fabric tag. Yes, that's fabric. Pretty fun. I think this is like a florist card. And then an embellished definition and a little piece of a paper garland. I was thrilled when I found that. A little Santa with some vintage gift ribbon. Cluster. This is from a cake decorating magazine. Here is a, I guess, a scrap notepad. Not every one, but most of the journals, I think all but two, have a page from the best Christmas pageant ever, which is a play that I was actually in when I was 12. My sister and I both got a role, and I bought the book, and I love the story. I love the wisecracks and the quips. It's just so cleverly written. And then the label in the back. Okay, that's it. That is the first one, the night before Christmas, and it sounds like Rudolph is on my roof right now. I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for the others, and I'll see you very soon to show you them.